Hey guys, welcome to the fourth and final video in my Eating Disorder Awareness Week series. In previous videos, I have answered if eating disorder recovery is possible, how long eating disorder recovery takes, and how I redeveloped a healthier relationship with food and exercise through recovery. So I'm going to link to those previous videos below. In this video, I'm going to be answering the question, how did I find the courage to share my story? So I'm going to talk a little bit about how it came about, how I ended up first sharing my story, what that experience was like for me, some of the pros and cons that I've gone through since sharing my story, and also I'm going to talk about, what this all means for you and why you may or may not need to do it yourself. It was April in 2010 when I first shared my story, and I did so by writing it out and posting it in a note on Facebook for any and everyone to see. Up until that point, I had told maybe just a handful of people about my experiences with an eating disorder, but in no ways was it public, and I had not reached out for any official help or support with my eating disorder yet. How it kind of came about was I hit a breaking point with my eating disorder where I just couldn't take anymore, and I realized that I was ultimately killing myself, and I didn't want that to happen. So I wanted to enter recovery. So I ended up staging my own intervention, which is kind of its whole other story. And I just really felt super fired up about entering into recovery and fired up about kind of taking my health back into my own hands and moving forward in a better direction. I think the main thing that really spurred me on to want to share my story beyond just telling close friends and telling a therapist about what I'd gone through was I was so sick of feeling so pent up and kind of constrained with secrecy and shame surrounding my eating disorder that I just wanted to let it out. And I also wanted other people who were feeling the same way that I had felt to know, hey, you can talk about this and you don't have to be ashamed and you don't have to live in secrecy. So for me, it was kind of two things. One, I wanted to just get it out. And two, I wanted other people to know that they're not alone. I have always been a writer for as long as I can remember. Writing is just what clicks for me. So it just seemed like a natural fit that I would share my story through writing. So I sat down, I wrote it all out, posted it on the internet for all to see, and kind of the rest is history. That's also how LIBERO was founded. After I shared my story initially this way, there was obviously some initial hesitation, like how is this going to be received? What are people going to think? What's my family going to think? What are my friends going to think? What are people going to say? But as I started getting messages of people thanking me for opening up, people opening up to me of their own struggles with eating disorders, it really fueled something new in me. It really fueled something in me to keep on going with it, because I realized that what I was doing was making a difference and it was having an impact. And I kind of wanted to take that momentum and run with it. I decided I wanted to blog through my recovery, first of all as a way to kind of journal my progress and also as a way to continue helping others. And as my blog grew, LIBERO grew as well, and I just kind of kept on with it. So let's talk about some of the pros and cons that I've experienced since sharing my story. So the pros, one of the first and most important ones, obviously, is getting that sense of freedom. No longer feeling pent up, no longer feeling burdened by secrecy or by shame. I just felt this overwhelming sense of freedom in sharing my story, which is why, not coincidentally, that LIBERO's Share Your Story campaign is all about stating what you're free from. Another pro was that I was able to see that it actually was helping others. My story was helping other people. It was encouraging other people, and it was letting them know that they weren't alone in what they were going through, which was, a really, really cool thing to experience and to be a part of. It helped me stay focused and inspired because it was something that I was passionate about, and writing about it and sharing about it kind of kept recovery in the forefront of my mind and my life. I was able to grow a community around it. I connected with other bloggers. I made some amazing friends who I still have in my life today, and that was really, really cool. It wouldn't have happened if I hadn't opened up about my story. It became an outlet for my passion for mental health and my passion for just helping people and for writing. It was an excellent outlet for that. At this point now, it's become my life's work. As the editor at LIBERO, not only am I able to continue writing and speaking, but I'm also able to help other people and enable other people to do the same. So that's really, really awesome. Some of the cons that I experienced from sharing my story, one of the main things is there's a lot of pressure, because when you stand up and you speak out, you become a leader. And as a leader, there's a lot of pressure because there's a lot of people looking to you and watching you and feeling inspired by you. And at least for me, I guess that put a lot of pressure on me, or at least I let that put a lot of pressure on myself, and I set very high expectations and high standards for myself, which weren't always the easiest to deal with. And sometimes it gives you a bit of that, almost like a fishbowl effect, especially when you're in recovery, because it's like you're working on your own recovery and all these people are watching you, and that's so amazing when you're inspiring and helping them. But when you start going through a difficult time, it can be a little bit complicated. Two more cons. One of them is facing judgment and criticism from other people. This is something I mostly experienced when I launched our Stop Fitspiration campaign, so you have to be ready for that to happen. And the other is the risk of becoming typecast, which is kind of a weird term to use, but what I mean by that is being labeled as that person who talks about depression or that person who talks about eating disorders and recovery. It's not even always in a negative way, like it's not always a stigma thing. Sometimes it's literally just that's all people see you as, and you end up kind of getting typecast as that, and you have to be prepared for that. Another thing to consider is once your story's out there, it's out there. And I haven't ever regretted sharing my story personally. There are things that I've written where now I'm like, that was very candid. I don't know if I would be that candid again. But yeah, like even if you take down a post, even if you delete something, it still never really goes away. If you're talking the internet, it never really goes away. And even if you're talking about public speaking, I mean, people have heard it. It doesn't go away. So definitely that's something to keep in mind. I'm not sure if I would say it's a con so much as just a consideration in regards to whether or not you should share your story. First and foremost, if you're wondering if you should open up and be honest about the fact you're struggling with an eating disorder or any other mental health condition, absolutely yes, you can reach out for help. You can get support. You don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to live in secrecy. Secrets kill. However, do you have to go completely public with what you're going through? Absolutely not. I don't think that you have to publicly share your story in order to recover. I don't think you have to publicly share your story in order to live a mentally healthy life. If you notice, like, I almost didn't fully straight up answer where I found the courage to share my story, because I don't know where I found the courage. I just did it because it's what felt right for me. So if you're wondering if you should or not, take into consideration some of the pros and cons that I've mentioned. Maybe talk to some other people as well. But also, like, if you're not being driven to do it, and if it doesn't just feel natural to do it, then maybe it's not the right thing for you, or maybe it's not the right time for you. And consider that sharing your story can look differently. I mean, outside of actually getting help, it can look like sharing to a small group of people. It can look like sharing one-on-one with your close friends and just encouraging them by being open with them. It can look like anonymous writing. It can also look like writing that's done third person or fiction or more kind of scientific and hands-off. It doesn't have to look like you standing in front of a camera or you writing out your pouring your heart out into a blog post and posting it on the internet for everyone to see. It can look like different things, so it doesn't have to look like for you what it looked like for me. All this being said, if you've watched this video and you're feeling inspired to share your story, I would love to have you share your story on LIBERO as part of our Free From campaign. I'm going to link down below where you can do that, but I would absolutely love for you to send in your story and have it posted on our site, or to even just share a Free From photo on social media. It's very simple. Just hold up a sign that says Free From, you fill in the blank, and post it there and tag us at LIBERO Magazine, that would be amazing. The more that we share our stories, the more that we show other people that they aren't alone, and the more that we can fight against stigma, and the more we can encourage people that they don't have to live in secrecy and shame, and that they can reach out and get help. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope you found it encouraging if you're considering sharing your own story. Definitely check out the previous videos that I did this week. Again, they'll be linked in the comments down below. I will talk to you guys real soon. Bye. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. As always, if you liked it, please hit the like button. It goes a long way to help my channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and come check us out over at LIBEROmagazine.com. We're an amazing community championing mental health, offering resources and support through our articles, and we'd love to have you.